Hello, Eternal Life fans. Welcome to the Eternal Life Fan Question and Answers. This is nice. It's new for me to do a video about answering people's questions. I've answered so many questions in text, and it just sort of gets tiring. So this will be cool to make a video. All right, the first question is, okay, a lot of people have been asking, like, what's with the fairy logo? What does that have to do with Eternal Life? It doesn't. Okay, so here's what it is. Fairies, to me, symbolize possibilities because it's even possible that fairies exist. How cool is that? So if it's possible that fairies exist, then certainly it's possible that we can live forever. So it's that aspect is just, it's like possibilities, like what's possible. As an Eternal Life fan, I want to be open to every single possibility.
You got to keep your mind wide open, all the possibilities.
Some of you might be thinking I'm crazy for even considering the possibility of fairies, but why do you pretend to know that fairies don't exist? I mean, I believe in just staying open to what's possible and not closing my mind to a possibility. Why would I do that? What benefit is there to that? No one knows for certain anything, like if there's fairies or not, so we don't know.
We have to be agnostic about everything. We can never say that there definitely is no fairy.
Ooh, I know some rock fairies that are gonna be pretty upset.
What? There are no rock fairies.
You never know. There might be.
So what I'm trying to do with Eternal Life Fan Club is just open people to what's possible. I think like so many deathists are closed-minded. They don't think eternal life is possible. So I just want people, I wish people could have the imaginations they had when they were children.
There is no life I know to compare with your imagination.
Children are just open to what's possible and they don't close themselves. They're just curious and questioning, and they're just open to anything. So it's about using your imagination, and I want us as a community to come together and share ideas and share possibilities, you know, and no matter how crazy your idea sounds, it might be what saves us. So we need to really just break down barriers of people and who have closed minds. We need to open people's minds up to what's possible.
Why would you spend your time thinking about such an impossible thing?
Why wouldn't I? My father said he sometimes believed in 6 impossible things before breakfast.
So, next question is, are you optimistic about the future of life extension? Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't very optimistic, so I'm all about possibilities. And I just look at what's going on right now with what Laura Deming is doing, Aubrey de Grey. I'm holding out for a hero. Okay, so I'm very, very optimistic. And you should be too.
2 teaspoons of wishful thinking?
Next question is, are you a hypochondriac? Well, no, I wouldn't really call myself a hypochondriac because hypochondriacs, from what I understand, they're obsessed with illness. They're obsessed with, like, creating illness. They're delusional. They're delusionally thinking that everything is like every little small thing is like some big illness, and they blow things up in their heads. I'm more of obsessed with staying healthy, preventative care. I'm healthy now, and I want to stay that way. Okay, so, you know, we should all be really obsessed with our health. Because you got to understand, this life might be all we get. Why wouldn't you be extremely careful with your health and preserve it and be obsessed about that. So, no, I'm not a hypochondriac, but I'm obsessed with staying healthy.
This life is a precious gift, so don't get too crazy. It's not worth the risk.
Next question is, what's the best way to help deathists? Well, I would start off with a lot of deathists are deathists because they're closed-minded. They're closed-minded to the idea that it's even possible to live forever. So we need to break down these preconceptions that many people have. People have been brainwashed, lied to as little children. They've been told that it's impossible to live forever. You might as well not even try, that everyone has to die.
Death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it.
Another important thing to understand about deathism is because of there's this horrible perceived inevitability of death. It causes the mind to create reasons why you should accept death and that why death is not a bad thing. And this is a coping mechanism. It helps them to cope with this horrible thing that they think there's no way to get around. They think it's inevitable.
You know, I was thinking about the things in life that are inevitable. And there's so much that is uncertain. And one of the things that's inevitable is that we're going to die. And our parents are going to die. Mm-hmm. And that's for sure.
Yep.
So it's much easier to just, instead of acknowledging how horrible death is, it's much easier to just say death is a good thing.
The whole point, I think, of life is death. Because without death, you wouldn't really live your life, would you?
It's like the Aesop's fable, the fox and the sour grapes. When you think you cannot have something, when you think something is out of your reach, you're going to create reasons, you're going to invent reasons why you don't even want it, that it's not even a good thing. You're going to lie to yourself to make yourself feel better. And I think that is what's going on with the deathists. Is they're telling themselves, "Oh, I can't live forever." But in the back of their head, they sort of do want it, but they don't think it's possible. So they're going to create reasons why eternal life isn't even desirable.
Because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new.
You need to talk to someone about these delusions.
So we need to break down these lies people have been fed. And a lot of people are deathists because they're religious and they believe that it's God's plan for people to die, and they're very confident in an afterlife. So I would start the conversation off with agnosticism. Ask them, look, how do you know that there's a God that's going to save you? Just ask them, what if? What if you're wrong? What if? Get them to consider the possibility that what if they're wrong, that they don't really know if there's a God. They don't really know that. So it comes back to possibilities. Just prepare for what's possible. You might believe there's an afterlife. You might believe there's a God, but people are wrong about their beliefs all the time. So prepare for the worst. That's why I started the agnostic code, because it's about this idea of we don't know if there's a God or not. So let's prepare for all the possibilities. Let's prepare for the worst case scenario. Why pretend to know something that you don't know?
And if this food comes as a gift from some divine intelligence, we understand that an intelligent being cannot blame us for questioning its existence. Nobody knows, nobody can know if any deity is watching over us. Amen.
So here's the next question. What do you think about mind uploading? Well, I've actually written an article about this. I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of mind uploading because the idea that you can just transfer your consciousness into a computer, I don't know, seems like it's sketchy. So it's possible, but I want to focus more on rejuvenation technology. I think mind uploading can actually distract the public from the real issue here, which is that we have to first things come first. We have to make sure our physical body. We have to try to preserve our physical brain. It'd be nice if we could transfer our consciousness into a computer, but that's sort of maybe wishful thinking. So let's start with first things first. We got to preserve this physical body we have here. So that's what I think about mind uploading. Next question is, what if there is a God? Okay, I'm not sure what this person is getting at. Yeah, I agree. What if? It's possible. I'm agnostic. That's what I promote, is agnosticism. So I'm all for the idea that it's possible there's a God, and even preparing for the possibility that a God might exist. We don't know. Everyone should be an agnostic, because no one could know that. No one could know if there's a God or not.
Nobody knows, nobody can know if any deity is watching over us.
How could you know that? So yeah, I do agree. We should prepare for the possibility that there is maybe some sort of judgment. You know, maybe no matter how much money we have, no matter how much life extension technologies we can afford, and no matter how much supplements we take, it's always possible that maybe there's some sort of theoretical God that can actually ruin our chances of eternal life. It's possible. Maybe they could stop us, actually prevent us from living forever. So I try to prepare for that possibility as a worst case scenario. I always just want to prepare for every possible worst case scenario that I can.
Watching the skies, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst.
And not pretend to know things. So next question is, I noticed you seem to be against hedonism. Why is that? Well, I'm not against hedonism. I'm not against pleasure in and of itself. What I'm against is hedonism coming before someone's eternal life. I don't see why pleasure shouldn't be your God. Okay, eternal life needs to be at the top of your priority pyramid, in my opinion. So imagine all your priorities. Eternal life should come first. Because if you don't live forever, no matter how much pleasure you have, no matter how much hedonistic gratification you had in your life, it would all come to an end, and essentially it would be meaningless unless you live forever. So I'm not against pleasure, but I'm against hedonism at the expense of your eternal life. Any pleasures that would risk your eternal life. Risky behaviors. That's what I'm against. So, you know, why should you be promiscuous if there's a risk involved with that? You know, you possibly could catch an STD. Why should you? I consider that in the same category as overeating. It's like there's a risk involved there. Why would you do that?
I want a feast.
You ate before you came to the factory.
I want a bean feast.
One of those.
Cream buns and donuts and fruitcake with no nuts, so good you could go nuts.
You're gonna have all those things when you get home.
No, now.
Eternal life is such a valuable treasure that we should be willing to make any sort of sacrifice for an increased odds of living forever. Nothing would be worth risking your eternal life. If you don't get that, then you don't really get the value of eternal life. If you live forever, you're going to get more pleasure in the end. So sacrifice some temporary pleasures that are even slightly risky just to have a better chance of living forever. To me, that makes sense. That's like common sense. Because eternal life, that's what's at stake here.
My life has got to be like this. It's got to keep going on.
Next question is, why are you an extremist? Why can't you be more moderate? Okay, I get this all the time. I get people acting like I'm some extremist and I should just be more... whatever, more. I don't get that personally. I don't see how you can be too extreme about living forever. It seems to me that all these other people who aren't extreme about living forever, they're the people who are acting illogically. If this one life is all we get, why wouldn't you want to protect that life at all costs? Why wouldn't you want to be extreme about protecting your life? So all I can say is I'm an extremist, and it's because I love life. And I don't see the eternal life is like the treasure of treasures to me. I wouldn't risk it for anything. So if you're going to call that an extremist, then I'm fine to be an extremist when it comes to living forever. And okay, so that is all for this question and answer. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe I'll do another question and answer in the future if I get enough questions. So just submit your questions in the comments. Like Eternal Life Fan Club on Facebook and YouTube. Check us out on eternallifefanclub.com. Goodbye, Eternal Life fans. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.